Hey folks, and welcome to class. This week on Tech Tip Tuesdays, we're going to talk about how to make your first and third slides actually function. You ever have these where they're just a little tight and they work? You know, like this one here, if you pull it, it sort of pulls back, but not great. I want to make those lightning fast so they can actually be used. We're going to show you how. This week this week's Tech Tip is actually sponsored by my other company, Tech Oil Lubricants, because we just released Tech Grease. Guys, I've been working on this product for a long time now, and it's finally out, finally live, finally ready for you guys to start using. We're going to show you what this stuff does and how awesome the product really is. All right, to make this work, you're going to want a couple things. To start off with, you're going to want a strip of Miracle Cloth. Now, Miracle Cloth comes in a large sheet that we cut down, and when you buy that, it looks like the old 1940s version advertisement, but this is really what it looks like right now. So when I get mine, I cut them up into strips and I store them in a glass jar like this. It has a little bit of an odor that I personally don't like. It's a strong coconut oil odor. Some people love it. When you use them, they start to turn dirty like this, which is fine. But I store mine up here mostly so they don't dry out and so I don't have to smell it. I also like a valve rod. I'll show you why I use that. We're not going to clean the rods when we're doing the tuning slides, but we are going to clean the slides out just a little bit. I'll show you how that works in just a second. You're going to need a good tuning slide grease like Tech Oil. I recommend some valve oil, and I'll show you why we're going to use valve oil on tuning slides here in a second. The other thing I really like is a bench peg, and these guys are used when we go to clean things. I can actually put it into the side of a bench. Now some people use just a block of wood with a hole drilled in it and clamp it to the side of their desk. That way they don't have to drill a hole in their desk, which is great. For my bench though, we've got it permanently installed in there. The other thing I want you to have is a pair of gloves, because as you saw, this stuff does get dirty, and guess what? That'll also get on all over your fingers as well. So let's show you how this is done. So if you do this process, you can actually put off a chemical flush for a long time. If you keep the slides clean and you keep your pistons clean, by simply pulling them out and using a good lubricant on them on a regular basis, you can put off a lot of chem flushes for a long time. So if you clean out just the main tuning slide, so pull the main tuning slide out and clean that tube out once a week. It takes 10 seconds, you know, run a snake down through there. It works great, and it will really put off your chem flushes. So today what we're going to do, we're going to start by pulling these slides out, back the screw off so you can actually get the third slide out and the first slide out. And you can see how over time this slide has really got corroded out. It's a little bit cleaner over here, but clear up inside the horn, it's really getting some calcium lime buildup on it. And that's the stuff we want to get off. Same thing with the second slide. You can really see how dirty this is. And we want to get that stuff out of the horn. So what we do is we take our bench peg and we're going to put this up against here, against the bench peg to hold it, and I'm going to put my hip up against it to hold that down. Then I'm going to take my Miracle Cloth, come in here and just rag this out. This is not rocket science. This is simply just buffing this slide out a little bit. And you can also make a block. I'll show you this block here in a second. You can make a block like this to actually hold these slides a little bit better, but it does take a vise to hold that in there. But you can just rag this out to where, now you can see on the inside how much, clean this off, how much cleaner that is than the side that I have not buffed yet. You see the difference there? How shiny that is versus that? So then I'm just going to flip it over and do the other side. You can see how much of that's coming off on the cloth now versus where we started. So I'm just going to turn this over. You could certainly keep going in that section of cloth. I'm just going to make this faster. And I want to get the sides of them as well, so I'm just going to put the cloth through on both sides here and rag that side out. And do the same thing on the other side. And then just going to wipe that off, and you can see why wearing gloves is a good thing, because you can get that black stuff, that oil, all over you. But look how clean that slide is now compared to what it was. So let's do that real quick on the first slide as well. You can see how close and tight this is. This is where the block comes in really handy. The other way you can do this is you can simply wrap the tube around it, or wrap the cloth around the tube, I mean, and then just twist the tube back and forth. It's nowhere near as fast, but it sure is effective. So you can see these little tiny marks right here on the end. I want to try to buff those out as well. That. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to clean these slides here as well. So on this, you can do the same thing. Lay your horn down, take a rag around it, kind of hold the horn down with your fingers and pull back and forth with this one. Flip it over, check your progress. Looking pretty darn good. You can even just come in right over the top and just buff it this way if you'd like to. That one all clean. Do the same thing, let's come in here and buff this one out. All right, so now we've got the insides slides both done. Now what we need to worry about is the outside slides. So we want to be able to get inside of this because that's going to run over top of that. So this is where this valve brush or the valve rod comes in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same cloth that I have been using and just wrap this around the tip a few times. And then I simply use this as a buffing tool. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing on my horn on these inside slides. Just trying to buff these up real quick. Nothing too fancy here. If the rag ever drops down off the tip, simply, you'll hear it kind of, you'll hear the metallic tick of it. Just rewrap it, no big deal. And you can see this thing started off clean. Look at all this stuff we've got off of this slide already. And I'm just working my way around the slide. All right. So now I'm going to take this off. And to clean the inside of that, I'm just going to take a small square of paper towel, fold it over a few times, stick that through here. I'm just going to clean the inside slides out just a little bit. In, swab out. And that's all there is to it. And now I'm ready to start remounting this horn. I'm going to do that today with tech grease. Now tech grease is pretty awesome. Gone are the days of needing to get your fingers all covered in oil where you're wiping this up. Now we have this applicator, and all we have to do is come in here and apply just a small amount of grease on the bottom half inch of the slide. You don't have to do grease all over it, just the bottom half inch, because when we put that in, I'm going to grab just a little bit more here and do the other slide here, other inside slide. Because when we put this slide in, it's going to spread that grease out all over the place. Now what's the black on this brush? Well, I've been using this brush, and as we use the miracle cloth, some of that darkness, that oil comes off on the applicator. It's no big deal. Won't hurt a thing. So now what we do is we simply put these slides in and work him back and forth. And already that slide works so much more freely and easy. So we're going to do that again on the first slide. If you need a little bit more, go grab some more. The other thing you can do is wipe the grease off the end of the brush and come in here and get that extra little burble of grease right off there and save it for next time. Now what you've got is you've got far more functional firsts and thirds, but I want this thing to work even faster, and that's where the tech oil comes in. So grease is just a carrier for oil, and tech grease has a certain amount of oil in it and works great for main tuning slides. But if we want lightning fast slides, take your tech oil and give it 1 or 2 drops of oil on that, and then work that slide in. Now all of a sudden that slide works so much more free. Open the first up, give us 1, 2 drops, 1, 2 drops, and work that in. And now your firsts and thirds work lightning fast. So as you can see, cleaning your slides with Miracle Cloth is really easy to make those sluggish slides lightning fast. If you use a little bit of tech grease with a few drops of tech oil on those firsts and thirds, or like on a tuba on the first slide, you can make your slides just lightning fast. So folks, come over to techoillubricants.com and check out tech grease and tech oil for yourself. And if you want, join me live every single Tuesday for my live tech tips, just like this. That way you can ask me any questions you want. So the next thing I'm going to do is say adieu to this and come over to the Zoom screen and answer all the questions that people have asking me live at this point. So if you want to be a part of that, go to repairmasterclass.com, scroll down on the homepage where it says join me live, and register to get the Zoom link so you can come ask me any questions you want every single Tuesday. Guys, we'll see you real soon. Cheers.